Hello and welcome to Let's Talk. Today we're here with State Representative Elaine Shwartz, and we're going to talk about the last legislative session and what we got done. Hello, Elaine Shwartz. How are you?
Oh, hi, Elaine Kugelman. It's so nice to see you.
Elaine, I know you represent Pebroke Pines, but what other districts do you represent?
Well, Hollywood, and it's Hollywood and a part of Pebroke Pines. That's about it.
That's
one of the few compact districts that probably won't be changed with the new redistricting.
That's good, because we don't want to lose you.
Oh, I hope not.
And so the House of Representatives in Tallahassee ended their legislative session for 2011.
Right.
And did we do any good work?
There's a question of who is we, because the leadership really runs the show there. And the leadership is not the party that I'm in. I am a Democrat, and the Republican Party
is
has
in power
its
right
agenda,
now.
Right. And so what I would have done, and my colleagues would have done, would have been to try to promote jobs and to increase revenue by collecting, say, taxes that are already on the books that companies are not collecting.
What do you mean?
At this point.
You mean to tell me that there are companies that should be paying taxes
Yes.
per the books and they don't?
Yep.
Why?
Yep.
How?
Well, internet sales, and that hurts our own local companies that have to pay rent and are on the ground, and so they are in competition with out-of-state internet sales companies that don't always collect and don't always forward sales taxes.
I never thought of that.
Yeah, and that is millions, hundreds of millions of dollars that could be coming in, but someone's not paying their fair share.
And you're right, Florida needs job creation so badly. You know, we're above the national average in unemployment, and that's very sad. Mm-hmm. So you couldn't do anything about job creation?
You know, we tried. I mean, there are ways of supplementing. You know, when the government spends money, we're able to create jobs and create the after effects, the ripple effect of having more jobs created as a result of the spending of that money. But when you cut 5,000 state jobs, which is what our current leadership did and the governor did, they cut 5,000 state jobs. They lowered the income. They lowered the amount of unemployment compensation. I mean, I do sound like I'm a complainer, but we fought all of that, and it unfortunately went through. They fought cutting state employees' salary by making them give 3% into
their pensions.
Right. Now, that may be a nice idea in the long run, but it's not a good idea when that money is needed to be in the economy and being spent. Yeah. Now it won't be there to help bring up the economy. So that's it's something that we obviously have bills on. I had a bill on increasing teachers' salaries, but of course that not only went nowhere, but they
cut 1,400 teachers
Broward County
in Broward County alone.
Yeah. So yes, I would like to say such good things happen. I think the only good thing that I know that happened was they passed the silver alert for seniors, so that there's a special alert for someone who's missing.
And that's one of the things that you work on is senior issues.
Yes. I'm on I have been for 4 years on the elder senior. They have different names for it each year. One year they called it Committee for Healthy Seniors. I mean, what healthy seniors needs government help? You know, it's ill seniors. But a misnomer. But so now the committee was called Health and Human Services, and I've been on Health and Human Services Appropriations and Quality Committees. That's 3 committees I was on, as well as Federal Affairs, which is really, that committee was his real name was just Bash Obama Committee.
And you were on that committee?
Well, I was glad to be on it because I was
You
able
needed
to be a voice of
enough-
reason
yeah.
rather than constantly saying why the federal government shouldn't be doing what it's doing, when of course what it's doing is helping the economy and they're trying to stop it. So, and the last committee was a big one called Judiciary, and everything went through, from the abortion bills to the immigration bill to, it was really a place of a lot of contention.
Were there some bad legislation that you stopped?
Yeah, yeah. Well, no one does anything alone. So
No,
I didn't
when I
stop
say
it.
you, it's
It
an
was
editorial
stopped.
you.
Yeah, the immigration bill, for example, that was stopped, that Arizona type litigation. And that stopped because of an internal squabble within the Republican Party.
Because if they really wanted it and they were together, they would have gotten it. Could they bring it up again next year?
I'm afraid they will. I'm afraid that's
And they will
true.
have learned what they did wrong.
Sometimes they don't learn. We had a bill that came through and passed last year. It was so that something that was made illegal 20 years ago. In other words, you don't want to have a system where it's so obvious that votes are for sale, that someone comes in with $100,000 and say, okay, could you push my bill, next tomorrow? Lobbyists and whoever who wants to have a bill passed. And those interests. And 20 years ago, the Democrats were in power and they decided it was very unseemly, so that we who run for office, who have to collect money because it's something that no one
must
except
do.
Governor Scott can put $80 million of
Right.
his own money in. But you have to collect money to run a campaign. But we are not allowed to do it during the session, so that there's no quid pro quo. We can say, okay, here's money, and here's
Right.
my bill tomorrow. I want
Right.
it. And there's also, I can only use it for my campaign. That's the law. I can use I can't use it for anything else. If I don't have a campaign and I've collected this money, I can't just give it to the next guy who needs it.
And you can't keep it either. What do you have
No,
to do
keep
with it?
You have to either
give it to a charity?
Yeah, charities. But the problem was, last year they passed something called leadership funds, where you're allowed to give money to a politician at any time, and it's only leadership, only the Speaker of the House, President of the Senate, those people are allowed to get that money, unlimited amounts, and they can give it to anybody they want. And Charlie Crist vetoed it. So one of the first things that came through, besides the unemployment compensation, which they cut, was to allow these leadership funds. And from then on, you could see everything that was coming out was because there was money coming in to the Republican Party. And I'm sorry to be so partisan, but that's the reality. I'm sorry if I'm going on so fast.
It's really awful, and you're going back again to do it again,
I'm
right?
doing it again, yes. Well, because I feel I am needed. We have wonderful, wonderful representatives. We have so many good people. They're just great. But I did have a bill, and of course I really worked. I made op-eds, and I had a lot of support with the newspapers from it. It was to have the CEOs of the companies that are doing business with the state
Right.
to just reveal their compensation. Because if the state is having a contract, say with a prison, and before this, all the money went to the employees, or not all, but a huge portion is labor, the employees, their pension funds, a nice middle class group that could benefit from it. If they're hiring, these privatized companies are hiring people at lower rates. They're not paying a lot, and they're not giving them benefits, and the CEOs are walking off with
the
billions
lion's share of the
dollars.
money.
I mean, this Medicaid HMO, one of them, I won't mention it, was in the news. All you have to do is Google and find it. And they were taking 38% of the Medicaid, those precious Medicaid dollars. And they were taking 38%, and they were caught by the federal government. The heads are being indicted now, 4 years later. I mean, well, the years of justice
Can they recuperate the
right.
4 years worth of of that money?
Well, that was another very important, you're so astute. God, yes, actually, they paid back something like $40 million when actually 400 million were taken.
Right.
So there's too much slippage here that we should not do this, and we should not privatize Medicaid. That's the movement, and I've been working very hard to stop that.
So listen, Tiger,
Yes.
go back to Tallahassee, do what you do, and take care of the people.
I'll give it a try.
'Cause that's what
right,
you
we
do.
have to, yes. Well, one thing I want to mention is our office. I have two wonderful assistants in this business. They give us each 2 aides. One is our legislative aide, and the other is an assistant. And I have Woody Fisher and Gregory Fields. And that office is buzzing all the time because we do so much constituent services work. We have interns too. We have wonderful people who are helping kids who are in school who come in the summer. The FSU kids up in Tallahassee, they come and help. And when people have problems that they can't seem to unravel, and if there's any regulation, and I'm making an offer, of course, that please come and see, because these guys really go out of their way. I think ours is one of the best offices that does that kind of work, and they're so busy. Lucky to have such good people, it's true. But that's part of the job of
Okay, so we're going to let people know where they can reach you.
Right.
At both offices.
Yep, yeah, okay.
And if anybody has a problem,
right,
check with your representative, Elaine Shwartz. For OCTV, I'm Elaine Kugelman, and thank you for joining us and listening to the legislative update in the 2011 state legislature by our state representative, Elaine Shwartz.